Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rebuild Room, and welcome to a new series here on the channel. As you can see, we're on Madden 26 right now with a custom league. Every single team in this league is custom made by fellow YouTuber Jerome PKR. He's a legend of Madden YouTube. Really highly suggest if you don't know him already, please go check him out. He's great. He had all these teams created, I believe, by himself. So I'll just go through each division here, give a quick tour of the logos and everything. This is the custom league we are joining into with the Scottsdale slash Arizona Blaze is going to be the team we are going to be fixing. Now, this isn't just a regular do a fantasy draft, rebuild a team, win a Super Bowl in 2 years like fantasy drafts normally go. This is going to be on what I like to call extreme difficulty. So first things first, we'll go into the franchise settings. League settings, we're going to have it on all Madden. We're going to play 8-minute quarters with 20 minimum play clock time. Play cooldown, we're going to have 3 for offense and a limit of 3 with a 3 cooldown on defense with no limit. In terms of all these settings, we're going all manual here. Obviously no tutorials and everything. Trade difficulty is going to be on hard. So just another thing to add to the difficulty. We're playing on all Madden. I have sliders imported and hard trade difficulty to go with it. Additionally, we're going to go hard free agent motivation impact as well. So if our team isn't desirable for a free agent, we're probably not going to get them. Practice injury I do have turned off. I just feel like it kind of slows down the series a little bit in terms of we have a guy who's playing well on a run, and then something completely out of our control happens with a practice injury. It just seems kind of annoying and frustrating. So we're not going to do that. Scoring through the rest of this, coach firing, we have only on CPU, so that way I don't lose my job. Breakout scenarios, of course, are going to be on. Dev trait regression, I do have off. Ever since they introduced it into Madden, it's been kind of gimmicky. I also like to turn superstar abilities off. Again, it's a theme on this channel to let the ratings play to the ratings, if that makes sense. And superstar X factors and abilities kind of get in the way of that. As you can see here, we do have some of these wear and tear impact stuff imported. That's part of the sliders I've used, which we're going to get to in about 5 seconds. So we head to the gameplay sliders, which are all taken from Mat 10 on Operation Sports, the Operation Sports forum. If you just look up Mat 10, Madden 26 sliders, these are the all Madden sliders from that forum. I've copied them directly into the main menu, have them saved, and then import them straight into the file. So these are all from that, including those wear and tear ones that I just showed a second ago. XP sliders, I have yet to find. I will import them eventually once I find good ones and kind of let you know what those look like. In terms of the draft class strength, I've played a good amount of Madden 26 and things like I'm just doing these 3 tweaks: interior offensive line, interior defensive line, and corners. I'm going to put those on weak. Everything else is going to stay on normal. So that's pretty much it for the pre-draft in terms of what makes this difficult. Now, during the fantasy draft, which I'm going to get to in a moment, what we're going to do is we have one player that we can draft that is kind of quote unquote approved by the league. Every other player has to be approved by the league. This is all basically to say we're not drafting anybody good. And we are going to have a team overall probably around the 65 to 67 range versus every other team's overall is going to be about in the low 80s at the lowest. So we're putting ourselves in a really, really big disadvantage with this fantasy draft. And again, you'll see what the final product looks like, and the first couple rounds of the draft I will end up showing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the intro to the series. Glad to have you along for the ride, and let's get into the draft. So we're here in the fantasy draft now. Again, our draft pick doesn't matter because no one that we're eligible to draft will be available at this pick. Now, I did mention earlier we have one player that doesn't have to be, again, in quotes, approved by the league. Everyone else does. Now, that doesn't mean I can just take whoever I want. I can't just come here to the quarterbacks and take Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold, or I can't just go and grab Jaden Daniels and have him run my team. No, 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 no. That would be way too easy. So, even though this player doesn't technically have to be approved, it's still, the player still has to meet some restrictions. Now, this isn't a restriction, this is just my personal opinion, is that I think a corner would be the right way to go with this pick. And you're going to see me go all the way down here because, again, we're not taking anybody at the top. That's just not allowed. A guy like Darian Porter, who's got the height, weight, speed, and he is really young. Well, 24 isn't really young, but 24 is still young. He is a rookie, hidden dev. You would think, okay, this guy is most teams probably corner four. So that would be approved, right? No. That would be too easy because he's too much of an athletic freak. And I just don't think that would be as fun because he's already on a fast track to developing into a good player versus Noel Williams, who I think arguably better in real life. Because he doesn't have the athleticism though, it makes him a lot harder to develop in terms of Madden. Again, I think he's better than Darian Porter in real life, but this isn't real life, this is Madden. But even then, a 22-year-old rookie with hidden dev, am I allowed to take that? That's a little bit that's a little bit more acceptable in my opinion because again, he's not that athletic freak that Darian Porter is, but that's the gist of this is that we're not getting any sort of elite talent in terms of anything. Now, in Jerome PKR's version of this series, he took Shamar Stewart as his one kind of, or I don't know what to word it, but I'll call it team captain. So Shamar Stewart was his one team captain. And Shamar Stewart is kind of that freak athlete, 86 speed, 87 strength at 6'5", 270. So theoretically, I guess I could take a guy like Darian Porter, but I don't know. All right, so I think I've decided on I'm going to call it a free choice player. I think I've decided our free choice player is going to be Josh Connerly Jr., the Commanders' rookie offensive tackle. Now, I know what you're thinking. He's not that great. Why would you pick him? 82 strength, not good. Why would you pick him? Well, again, I don't want it. I don't want to pick some guy that I know is guaranteed to go up to a 95 overall in 2 years because I force feed him the ball or because I use him as my user and I get 15 interceptions with him. I don't want something like that. And offensive line to me is the biggest thing in Madden. And Josh Carnley has a really, really good balanced set of attributes. He's in at least 72 for everything in terms of the blocking stats, and then athleticism is 70 and above in everything. So to me, that's a really balanced set with a 21-year-old hidden dev player. I think it's a great baseline for the offensive line, which again, like I said, I think is the most important position in Madden. And so I think we're going to start off this team. The Arizona Blaze are going to take Josh Connerly Jr. All right, so I think we're just going to start going position by position now that we've gotten our choice player out of the way. I think for quarterback, I think I'm going to go with Hendon Hooker. He's got a little bit of speed. There is some arm talent there, but the accuracy is a concern. The awareness is at 35 right now, and he's never gotten a true chance to even play. As well, he does have the injury concerns. The stamina and toughness are also low. So this feels like the kind of guy that, you know, there's a long shot that he develops, especially being 27 years old as I think a third year player now. There's a long shot chance that he develops, and I'm obviously willing to try it, but I mean, you just never know. So I think Hendon Hooker is going to be our quarterback. Now, I know I said we wouldn't be getting a lot of athletic freaks on this team, but because he's a 68 overall at 26 years old, the league was feeling generous enough to let us have Amari Barno on the team. 92 speed and 93 acceleration off the edge. However, he is not good at anything else. Again, this is another guy, long shot chance that he develops. There's certainly potential just because of the speed alone, but not very high hopes for him to become a great player. But again, intriguing guy just because of the speed alone. I feel like we have to take him. So that's what we're going to do. Next pick is going to be offensive tackle Blake Freeland, 6'8". That's pretty much the gist of it. No other real redeeming qualities. I mean, he moves pretty well for a guy who's 6'8" on the offensive line. For the next couple picks, we'll probably fill out the O line. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them. And one more thing just to clear up, I'm not going to go through the entire draft showing every single pick, but I will make every single pick manually and I will do the whole thing myself. But again, there's Blake Freeland, our next pick. Next up on the offensive line, we've got left guard Nick Saldiveri, 6'6", 25-year-old. In case you can't see a trend here, we're just going for some big old bodies on the offensive line. And we're keeping that going here with Saldiveri. All right, we're keeping the trend going again. 6'6", 23-year-old Hayden Connor at the center spot. Keeping it going with the 6'6" plus offensive lineman. We're really doing a thing here. All right, the starting linebacker for the Arizona Blaze is going to be Bumper Pool. It's just for the name. There's nothing that great about Bumper Pool except for the name. Bumper Pool is an awesome name. A 25-year-old from Arkansas. He's joining the squad. All right, next pick, we're going back to the D line. We're snatching Brenton Cox from Florida, 25-year-old. Decent enough block shedding, actually. Not too bad of a run defender. The power moves aren't horrible. An okay athlete. He's not good enough at anything where the league wanted to keep him from us, so he's joining the squad. All right, I know it says we're drafting a tight end here, but I think my plan is to take N'Keal Harry and put him back at wide receiver. I mean, I really have no reason to want to do this except for vibes and because I think it's funny. So that's exactly why we're doing it. N'Keal Harry is coming to the team and he's going to go back to wide receiver. All right, our next pick, we got some white lightning in the secondary. Dan Jackson. They're actually going to let us take him in the draft. 6'1", 94, 24-year-old from Georgia. 91 speed, 93 excel. Pretty quick. Honestly, quick enough to where I thought they weren't going to let us take him. But he is going to be allowed to be a Blaze, and he will be. We get a white defensive back for our first DB on the team. All right, this is going to be the last pick that I show live in the draft. We're going to fill out that final offensive line spot with another behemoth of a human being. We got Holland Pierce, 24-year-old from Rutgers, 6'8", 341 pounds at right guard. The stats, honestly, really strong. But again, that's kind of it. Because again, he's huge. And again, we have to take guys that the league will let us take. Thankfully, they let us get a guy this big and this strong. So Holland Pierce is going to wrap it up for the live picks. I'll see you guys at the end of the draft. All right, the draft is done. Here is what the team looks like. Quarterback position, you saw Hendon Hooker. The backups are going to be Curtis Rourke and Dorian Thompson Robinson. We're going to have a three-way battle through the preseason, which I will be playing. So I'll play most of the preseason, if not the entire thing. Obviously, with some clips of this in the next episode. But, or maybe we'll do it in this episode. Maybe we'll do it in this episode. Who knows? But we will have a quarterback battle. Hooker is not guaranteed the starting spot. Rourke and Thompson Robinson will have a chance. Running back, we got Deuce Vaughn. Jace McClellan? Yes, Jace McClellan. Couldn't remember his name for a sec. We got Jennings and we got Anthony McFarland to round out the running back room. We've got Van Sumeren at fullback. He's really interesting, actually. 6'2", 230. And he's got 91 speed with 93 excel and 75 strength. He could honestly be a nasty running back. The only problem is the carrying is really, really low. And again, change of direction really low, spin and juke really. He's not actually going to be a running back. He's not a good running back, but it's just interesting to see a fullback with that high speed. Receivers. Xavier Restrepo is going to be our starting slot. We've got Javon Baker from UCF. We've got, I think, Will Shepard? Yes, Will Shepard from Colorado, 6'3". He, he's all right. He's 23. He's a rookie. We got Cropper. We've got Jackson. And of course, we have N'Keal Harry, who I'm probably going to start. Maybe. I don't know. Haven't really figured that out. Again, this is a preseason thing to figure out. Freeland, Saldiveri, Connor, Pierce, and Connor Lee. is the offensive line. Latu, Turner, and Yaboa at tight end. For the defense, we've got Brenton Cox, Amari Barno, Shaka Tony, and Jeremiah Moon. We saw at the Adebayor pick. We have the wrong Byron Young, the Alabama DT Byron Young. I mean, he's all right, I guess. But again, certainly we'd much rather have the other Byron Young. We've got Durden and Silvera behind him. Corners, CJ Henderson, corner one. Luter, Fuller, Simpson, and Corey Trice. Trey Dean and Mo Osling. We got the thirds back at free safety. Strong safety, like we saw Dan Jackson, Major Burns, Major great name. And that's kind of a theme. A lot of these guys have good names. Like we got the Mooncox at left edge. We've got who are the other names that I liked? Silvera. Nesta Jade is his first name. That's insanely hard. That's a great name. Um, we've got Bumper Pool. We saw that one in the draft. Great name. I mean, that's just awesome, isn't it? JJ Russell is more of just because he's an athlete. We've got Power Eccles, another just awesome name. So that's kind of a theme that I went for with this team. Just get as good names as possible. Figure out the rest later. So that's where we're at. That's the roster. Special teamers, can't forget. We've got I think Lou Headley. We've got Lou Headley, and we have everyone's least favorite Jake Moody. We get Rocco Underwood for our long snapper. And in case you haven't noticed that theme, there are a lot of former Gators on this team. Rocco Underwood went to UF. Trey Dean went to UF. Both of our left ends, Cox and Moon, went to UF. So there's kind of a theme going on here a little bit. CJ Henderson went to UF. I believe we have a Gator on the offense as well. We don't actually. Okay, but still, good amount of former Gators on the team. That would be my own personal influence coming into this. But yeah, that's the roster. It stinks. It's supposed to stink. All right, so after some behind the scenes work, I have realized that because this is because team builders have to be imported from online franchises, and because in online franchises I can't retire and create a new character with a different team in the same save, I'm not going to be able to trade the draft picks to the proper teams. So, thankfully, thankfully for us, it doesn't affect us too much. We don't have our fourth round pick or our sixth round pick. We do have a replacement fourth and a seventh instead of a sixth. So thankfully, it's not going to hit us too hard. We're still going to have our first, second, third, fifth, and seventh that are from our own pick, which is very good. Thankfully, we didn't get destroyed by it. But there are some teams that I don't have any examples in my head, but let's say the team that took over the Jets is going to have 5 first round picks in the next 2 years. That obviously, now that the rosters are reset, they didn't make those trades, but they still have those picks. And I still don't know why Madden doesn't have a setting that resets the draft picks. 2K, as bad of a game as 2K can be, at least 2K has that setting. Because you can't play a fantasy draft just gets so ruined without it. And yet somehow Madden EA still doesn't have it in the game after however many years fantasy drafts have been a thing for. But anyway, quick little rant over. I'm gonna do the training camps off camera. So, and then we'll hop right into preseason. So I'll see you in the preseason. All right, we're at our coach interview right now. They're asking us about our offensive background. What area of the offense do you think you'll have the biggest impact on? I kind of want to go offensive line. I might just spam offensive line with all of these. I think the biggest thing that I want to do is build an offensive line. It's one of the most important things. I said it in the draft when we took Connerly as our one player, that offensive line's a big thing for me, and I'm sticking to that. Moving more to off the field, what area have you emphasized as needing to be a big focus? Player development. If you don't have good players, you're not going to win football games. So that's the big thing to me. And again, offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. What will separate me from other coaches in this league? Innovating play calling, dominating run game, unstoppable aerial attack, or high octane pace. I'd probably say innovative play calling, you know? And it just gave me triple option. I'm not running the triple op. Maybe with Hendon Hooker, maybe we do run the triple option a little bit. Maybe that could be something. Um, yeah, so now I think after I do the weekly strategy, we're gonna have some player upgrades to do, and then we're gonna head into some preseason highlights. All right, we've got some player upgrades after training camp. First on the list is potential starting quarterback Hendon Hooker. He's got physical talent. He really just needs the mental game and the arm accuracy to go up. So that tells me field general is the right upgrade for him. He does go up one overall to a 64, 3 awareness, 1 throw accuracy short. That was pretty ass. Maybe we switch it up with a strong arm. Maybe this will surprise the game and we get something good. 2 awareness, 2 play action, 1 throw short, 1 under pressure. Now we go improviser, 1 of each. There's no way the game can give me 3 bad upgrades in a row. 2 awareness, 3 accuracy mid, 1 short, 1 on the run. There we go. So Hooker's up to 66. 83 short, 78 medium, 75 deep, 75 on the run, 76 under pressure. With his athleticism, that doesn't look horrible. Again, the injury stamina toughness is a bit of a worry. Adetomiwa Adebawore, he's a guy that I'm really, really excited for. 89 speed, 92 excel at D tackle. I know everything else doesn't look great, but those two things alone are just insanely good. So he's got to be a speed rusher. I don't know why his finesse moves is low, but he's got to be a speed rusher. +2 on that first one. He's up to 69 finesse. Even though it's not his archetype, I'm going to keep going for it. It does keep bumping up the nose tackle as well. 1 block shed, 1 finesse, 2 tackle. He's already up to a 70. He's only 24. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Javon Baker, his stats are kind of balanced. +7 release. I guess that maybe with whatever coaching thing we have on, the coach abilities. The hands are a little bit low. The route running's a little bit low. Playmaker's just always the best receiver upgrade anyway. So I was going to do that the whole way through. 3 medium route, 1 short, 1 deep, 2 catch in traffic. That's really solid. Honestly, I wish it was for the regular catching and not the catch in traffic, but it's all right. And then second upgrade, he goes up +2 and 1 upgrade. That's always nice. 1 catch, 3 release, 2 deep, 1 juke, and 2 medium as well. So the medium and deep route are looking pretty solid now. The release went up a little bit. He looks like a solid enough receiver now, actually. Deuce Vaughn, I want him to be a better receiver, but upgrading receiving back is just trash. So we're just going to keep going elusive and hoping maybe he can get that juke and spin up. There's +2 juke. And then up to a 69 overall now. He gets another 2 juke, 2 spin, and a change of direction. That's actually kind of huge, especially the change of direction. Being a smaller guy, we need the change of direction agility to be really good. So that's actually a really nice upgrade there. Josh Connerly gets his 1. We do have that offensive line boost from making the offensive line our coaching specialty or whatever it was in the interview. So his 2 worst attributes, the pass block power and the pass block finesse, are both getting boosted to above 80. So he's above 75 in everything. He looks awesome. I almost want to upgrade power just to see if he'll get strength, and I think I'm actually just going to do that. It doesn't boost his overall. He only needs 3,000 XP to upgrade. 2 pass block power and 1 run block. Not great. Again, I was looking for the strength. That's the only reason I did that. Dan Jackson, I guess we'll go hybrid. I feel like that's for the most part the best safety upgrade. So we'll get him that. He gets 1 man, 3 zone. 1 play rec, 1 pursuit, 1 awareness. Pretty solid upgrade there. 3 zone from a hybrid upgrade is awesome. And he's still a 91 speed guy, so he's got some potential. And then Curtis Rourke needs the medium and deep accuracy. Under pressure could go up as well. We're going to go with the strong arm upgrade for him. That's field general. I just clicked the wrong thing. Awesome. 2 awareness, 1 throw accuracy short. Field general is garbage. So that's it for player upgrades. Now, After all this time, we will finally get into some preseason highlights. For preseason, I'm just going to be playing with the offense with the quarterbacks. I don't really care to play defense for the preseason. Obviously, for the regular season, that will not be the case. We will play everything. But just for preseason, the big storyline with the preseason is going to be the quarterback battle. So that's what we're going to play. We're going to show a drive or two from each position or each quarterback in each game and just see how they all play. We are at home for the preseason opener. Our stadium is called the Inferno, which is fire, no pun intended. But I love that name for the stadium as the San Diego Sharks go down and score on their first drive. They get a field goal. As out comes the offense. First quarterback out will be Hendon Hooker. Here we go. First play of the preseason. We got a play fake. Hooker looking over the middle. It's caught by Javon Baker. 13 yards over the middle on the first play from scrimmage for the Blaze. Honestly, a surprising good start there with that first play. We're going to go back to the air. Hooker pressured instantly, gets it off to Will Shepherd, but he can't come down with it there. Now, I know this is mostly about the quarterback, so we are going to do a little bit of everything. As we got McClellan up the middle, he gets almost all of it back. 3rd and inches here for the Blaze. 3rd and inches, we've seen some of the physical talent from Hendon Hooker already. Can we see the mental part of the game too? And he does make the right read, but Vaughn is stuffed and a flag on the play on us as well. And it's going to be a holding. It's Blake Freeland at left tackle, and they're going to move us back to 10 yards. So it was the right read from Hooker, but just Vaughn goes nowhere on the handoff. 3rd and 10 at our own 43. Show me something, Hooker. Under pressure instantly. That's not even close. I mean, that's Max Crosby. First of all, why is Max Crosby in a preseason game to begin with? But not a good look for Josh Connerly, who's supposed to be our star player. And I put that very lightly, but not great. As we do get to see the punt, Lou Headley out to kick it. I'm not sure how much power he's got. We're going to aim it towards the sideline just in case. And that's actually a beauty. Can that get out of bounds? Bounces at the 5 and to the end zone. Well, now we know he's got a leg on him, as Daniel Jones is the quarterback for the Sharks coming out. So Hooker with an okay drive. I want to give him one more. I don't know if the game will, but I'm going to go in and make sure he gets this next drive. They did take him out of the game already, but I'm going to put him back in. We're going to give Hooker one more chance here. We'll start out with a play fake. Seems like a good idea. We got this lookout. It's Cropper and Jackson, the receivers, Yeboah and Turner at tight end. As we get the play fake off, get Hooker out of the pocket. There's an open man on the run. It's caught. Pretty solid throw from Hooker. That's not a bad look at all. I'll take that any day. And we'll just keep it moving with the play fakes. If that's what it's got to be, if we got to just play fake, get him out of the pocket every time, so be it, you know? That's what we'll do if that's what we got to do. So, if we can't stay in the pocket, then we'll take off and run. Hendon Hooker on the move takes a hit. Tried to get fancy with the spin move. It didn't completely fail us, but definitely wasn't the smartest play to make there. But hey, no one got hurt. We only took a decent hit. I have no idea how to read that play. I got scared, so I just let the handoff go through. That's a weird play. It kind of takes for an RPO, which is usually supposed to be quick hitters. I mean, that took a long time to develop. But we got 3rd and 1. Again, can Hooker make the right read? I mean, that's not even a tough one. He's just wide open. Jackson gets the first down up to the 47. We're looking not too bad here. Switch it up with a run play a little bit just to keep them guessing, but they weren't really guessing on that one. They were kind of all over it. And now that puts us in a tougher spot. 2nd and long, 2nd and medium. But, it's preseason. Got to let them hang loose a little bit. Why not take a shot? Play fake. We don't have time. Make a play, Hooker. Make a play or just throw the ball away. Let's not just because it's preseason doesn't mean we're going to do anything stupid. At least let's pretend to play smart. whether we're going to play smart or not. Let's just pretend that we're going to do it. 3rd and 8 from the 45. First chance to get some points on the board. Can't we make the right read? Yeah, he's wide open. That's Turner, the backup tight end, for the first down. We're into, well, it's Jake Bates, so we're not going to say field goal range quite yet. But Jake Bates does have a semi-strong leg. He just can't control it. So this is field goal range. It's just I don't trust a kick to go in from here. As McClellan breaks a tackle. Nice run. Right up the gut. We'll take that. Jace McClellan. I'm kind of upset because Deuce Vaughn barely got in the game. When he was in the game, I was just throwing the ball to see Hooker, of course. But, you know, what can you do? As there's a lane to step up and run, and we're going to. Hooker inside the 10 to the 7. Took another big hit. The wear and tear is starting to build up a little bit. This will be his last drive anyway, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But, yeah, he's already into the yellow. So we're going to switch this up from the run. We're actually going to go pass again. And it looks like we have him underneath with a step. Jackson does catch it, but a little bit high on the throw. Couldn't keep him with his momentum going forward, and we're short by 3 yards. Here we go, 2nd and goal. Wide open is Harry, airmailed. They went what looked like engage 8. It really was just a run commit, I think. And, well, that got us completely off our bearings. And Hooker kind of just lofted it up there. I don't know. Ugly play all around. 3rd and goal, 3 yards to go. Show me something, Hooker. And broken tackle on the sack, but he does go down eventually. Trying to step up and run. Stepped up and ran, but right into the pressure. Again, it's preseason. I don't care if we win or lose. We just want to see some action. So we're going to go for it on 4th and goal. 4 yards out. Hooker to throw. Looking, and we get pressured by 3 guys again. But I keep saying this is why we offensive line. This is why the offensive line is such a big deal to me. But that'll do it for Hendon Hooker. He didn't look bad. Did as much as he could with how the offensive line was treating him. And it's Curtis Rourke time to lead the 2-minute drill. Minute 30 to go. We got all 3 timeouts. Curtis Rourke onto the field. Here we go. And instantly, we had a tight end on an edge rusher. They rushed 3, and yet we had a tight end one-on-one with an edge rusher. Don't know if that's a great blocking scheme there. Going back to that innovating play calling answer, not very innovative there. Why is Blake Freeland in at tight end? What is happening here in the preseason? Rourke flushed out, not his game, trying to get a run, and he sacked. Max Crosby just too fast. No way Curtis Rourke was going to outrun him there. We've got 3rd and long. We need some blocks. We need to have actual receivers on the field instead of offensive linemen at tight end. And we need just a couple seconds to read the defense. Can you give us that? No, they can't. I mean, Jackson was wide open again. He's looked really good. Jackson has been the only guy able to really do anything for us. But Moro Jomo, again, up the middle, being a problem. And Lou Headley's going to punt. What kind of 360? What did he just do? Did you see that on the punt returner? What was he doing? And the offense off the field again. Offense does come back out. 40 seconds left. We're at the 44. Chance to push into field goal range and tack on our first points of the day, but we just have no time. Wanted to take a deep shot. We had McClellan on a linebacker, but guess who? It actually wasn't Moro Jomo. It was Javon Hargrave that time. Is this just the Eagles? What are we doing here, man? I don't know, but 36 seconds left. Rourke yet to complete a pass yet, even though it's not really his fault. We can maybe hit the tight end here. Latu does make the catch past the 40 up to the 37. Rourke not really known for his improvising, but does a good enough job there. Gets the ball out, gets it on time and accurate. So we'll take that all day. 27 seconds left. Like to maybe get our first touchdown, but let's not push it. Let's just get on the board. We're going to take a shot. We got nothing better to do. N'Keal Harry, 2-on-1, can't come down with it. It was either that or we throw the ball away or we take a sack. So I just decided why not just launch it up, give our guy a shot. Third or second and 10. We're still just not going to run the ball, honestly. It's a QB battle. Great blocking from the offensive line there. Can we float that in? We can. Perfect ball from Curtis Rourke. Finds Latu up the sideline. 10 seconds left. We call timeout. Excuse me, 11 seconds left. 10 yards out. We call timeout. And meanwhile, the defense has been playing amazing. I just saw it. It's still 3-0. It's been 3-0 since the first drive of the game. This is our chance to take the lead going into halftime. Rourke, can we make some magic? No. We still probably have time for one more play, though. So I guess it's not over yet. We got one more play here in the first half to finally get on the board. Show me something, Curtis Rourke. And that's a pick. Overthrown on the out route. There was a tight window. I think we could have fit that one in. I do actually want to check that out. I just want to see the replay on that, see if I'm a bad QB or if Curtis Rourke just missed the throw. I mean, he broke on it pretty quickly, but like if it gets out, what I'm thinking when I see this is if I can get it out instantly, and if Jackson runs a good enough route, we can get it into this space right here before the DB can get there. But it's not thrown into this space where I'm hovering over. It's thrown into this space, which is entering this DB zone. That DB is Ingram. So we kind of threw it into the wrong zone. Rourke definitely overthrew it. I mean, Jackson has no chance at this ball anyway, but it's also not a great read. So I will take some blame for that, but, not a great throw from Rourke either. All right, we're back in the third. Rourke is going to get another drive or two, probably one. And this one starts Latu to the right side, can't make the catch. That one is actually a perfect ball from Curtis Rourke. I can't even be mad. He put it right on the money. It just got knocked away. Latu couldn't hold on to it. Whatever it was, good play by the defense. Good throw from Rourke, though. Another one under pressure. This time Latu does hold on. He's got 9. Him and Jackson have been our 2 receivers. Now, I know a lot of the guys went out in the first quarter, a lot of our main starters, but still, looked pretty solid. Rourke going to keep it on the option, get the first down, past the 50, almost got a block from Latu there. I don't love taking a hit, but the RPO actually works there. They bite on the handoff because you figure Curtis Rourke's not going to run, but then he does, and it only gets you you only need 2 yards, and he gets you a lot more. There's that innovative play calling. As we got another play action set up here. We're going to work a lot of play action. Just take what they're giving you with the check down. McClellan makes a decent move to cut back, gets up to 8 yards. 2nd and 2, still looking for the first points. That's not going to happen. Just 2 guys in the backfield instantly. Honestly, I'm surprised Rourke got it away. I'm impressed and happy enough with that result. 3rd and 2, try and catch him by surprise with the run, and McClellan's got a big hole. Up to the 20. McClellan, 5 rushes, 45 yards, 9 per carry. He's been awesome. He might earn a starting spot over Deuce Vaughn. We're going to have to run the ball next game and see if it's Deuce Vaughn or if it's McClellan at the running back spot. I've never ran a tight end screen pass in Madden before, so we're going to try this one out here. Rourke dumps it off. Latu's actually got some space. That's about 6 yards on first down. We'll take that any day. Not a bad play. Some more creative play calling from Mike Litzwet. All right, 2nd and 4 in the red zone, knocking on the door. Show me something, Curtis. Nice throw over the middle. Cropper does catch it, but short of the first down. Under pressure, once again, instantly. What else is new? And we've got 3rd and 1. We're close. 3rd and 1, 10 yards from the end zone, just one for the first down. We'll go McClellan up the middle. He's got it. Down to the 8. All right, 1st and goal. Give us a touchdown, Curtis. That's not it. Instant pressure again. What else is new? Max Crosby. What else is new? I feel like I feel like a broken record just saying Max Crosby pressure over and over again. It's the 3rd quarter of the first game of preseason, man. What is he doing here? Get him away from me. This should be illegal. It actually should be illegal. But Curtis Rourke, he's going to power through anyway. Wide open man. Simpson drops it. Simpson drops it. Timeout. Timeout. He's wearing number 38. Is that our running back? Is that a running back? It's a Man, this game really makes me mad. I get you want to bench your quote unquote starters, but like, man, you you put in a corner in the red zone when we still haven't scored, man. That makes me so mad. That actually makes me so upset because that's a wide open pass. That's a touchdown. And because the game has a cornerback in the game, we just don't get it. And now we got to make something happen on third down. Rourke launches. Open man Cropper for the touchdown. The Blaze finally on the board in the third quarter. We lead with a Curtis Rourke passing touchdown to Jalen Cropper, and we finally get on the board. I feel like that's a fitting place to leave off with Curtis Rourke, at least for game number one. So we're going to bring in Dorian Thompson Robinson. He's going to close the rest of this game out. We'll see what he can do. First pass, we're going to look to the right side, and it's knocked away from Baker. Good play there in coverage. Can't see the name because it's really bright, but not the worst throw. I mean, it was on target. Probably wasn't a great read by me to begin with, but you know, it's preseason. I'm not going to be locked in like that. There's a quick pass. Yaboa up the left side. He's got a lot of space. He moves quick. Like, it wasn't a lot of straight line speed, but it just felt quick. He just looks like he runs fast. I don't know if that makes any sense. And a good throw from DTR too, right on the money. I know it sounds stupid that I'm talking about a 5-yard pass like it was something crazy, but with how low these overalls are, you never know. And DTR is going to keep this one. He gets outside. He's got a big lane to run inside the 25, gets the juke past the 20 to 16. Awesome run, DTR. That's what he can do. And I know Hendon Hooker can do the same thing too, but DTR's got moves out in space. So that could be useful for us at some point down the line. Do got to switch it up just to keep him honest. McClellan up the middle, bounces it back. Nice cut too, but kind of slipped at the end there. He had the juke and he had the lane, but just kind of stumbled there after making the juke and couldn't quite get to the end zone, but still a pretty good run. 7 yards out from the end zone. We'll go with the fullback dive. Van Sumeren tumbling over himself and everyone else. Gets into the end zone, and look at the athleticism too with the backflips. That's why you get Ben Van Sumeren in your backfield. Touchdown Blaze. We take a 2-possession lead in the opening day of preseason. The defense has been unbelievable. We get the ball inside the Sharks' half of the field at the 43-yard line. It's still 14-3. Still got DTR in the game, and I just read the field way too slow. That's not DTR. That's just me. I was staring down one route. I had no other backup plans. That's not on him. That's completely user error there. I'll not not proud of it. Man enough to admit it. I completely brain farted there. All right, second and long. Show me something, DTR. They're QB containing. We're gonna step up, try and run, but nothing really there. We get sacked again. Max Crosby is still in the game. It's the fourth quarter, and Max Crosby is still here in the preseason. This game makes me really upset. And it's the preseason. I'm already getting upset because why is that a thing? Why is he in the game? I don't know. We're gonna try and take a shot, get hit as we throw. It's 4th and 20, but let's go for it. Let's just see, can we even get the time to throw a shot downfield? Out of 5 wides, out of 5 wide, I just have no hope. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Crosby's left open one-on-one, but it wasn't even him that got to us first. It was Martin. I could be wrong, but that it doesn't sound like a name I'm even familiar with. It just showed it right there. It didn't show it. Okay. Let's go figure out who Martin is on the Sharks because I'm curious to see who. Now, granted, our O line is not good, and I'm aware of that. But Jacob Martin. I actually am familiar with him. I've heard that name before. He's an average player, and he just had the quickest bend around the edge I've ever seen in my life, which not very promising, if you ask me. So that was not that was not great. Honestly, not a huge fan of that possession there. But the defense still does their thing. They only get a field goal. Now, I still don't care about the result of this game, so I'm not going to run the ball that much. I still want to see DTR, even though we've had like two or three drives, we haven't really got to see him do much. And that one's a little bit underthrown for Latu, but could have probably lob or touch passed that instead of trying to bullet. So maybe that was on me, but a little bit of both. I could have probably done a touch pass, but DTR probably could have got some more air under it anyway. So I'm not going to take that one too much into account. And that's a really tight window to throw in. I knew it was a QB spy once I started shifting around in the pocket. And so I figured maybe he picks this off, but maybe if he doesn't, then he's sitting right in the middle of the zone and it's a decent completion. And thankfully that's the one that happened. Third down, DTR, step up and run. There it is. Crosby does chase him down, which is a crazy play, but it's Max Crosby. Crazy plays are nothing new. But honestly, pretty good job by DTR. His acceleration out of the pocket feels a little bit better than Hendon Hooker, I will say. Like when he's stepping up in the pocket, it feels a little bit quicker. And maybe that's because Hooker got wear and tear damaged, as this is a tough throw, but he gets it there. Javon Baker is able to get to that one at the 40. Really, really tough play from DTR off the play action. Another good looking throw. Honestly, they're all pretty evenly mediocre at as of right now. That's my analysis after this first part of the game. Is that they're both or all three QBs are all pretty evenly mid, and it's probably going to be a rough season regardless of who we start. But again, it's week one of the preseason. We still have two more games to go. There's a lot of deliberation to be had. As DTR now picks up the wear and tear, as here comes Crosby. This isn't good. Decent throw. Is that a catch? I don't know. I feel like that's a catch. First of all, great play to get around the edge again by DTR. He just feels quick moving out of the pocket. This is a catch by Kenny Oboa. This is a catch. And it's a great catch. And an amazing throw, too. I'm challenging that. I know I'm technically cheating by replaying and then challenging it, but, I'd like to get the stats in there. So we'll get the stats onto the score sheet for DTR. That's an amazing throw. That's an awesome throw. I'm really, really happy with that. I don't think either of the other two quarterbacks are first of all, I don't think they're making the play to even get out of the pocket and then making that throw too, as the run blocking looks really, really solid. McClellan for 7. He's had a really nice game. I need to use Deuce Vaughn more next game because I need to see if this is just a McClellan thing or if it's just the offensive line thing or what. Because there's a really nice cutback. There's a touchdown. McClellan with a great run, great blocking. We score again. That ices the game. We are going to win, which I find hilarious. That we're supposed to be this awful team. We have in the 60s overall and everything. And in the sim, we're just unstoppable. Well, our defense is just amazing. As there's Jennings with a touchdown. First run of his season in the preseason, of course. And he walks into the end zone. It's 28-6, the final score. Couple upgrades for some of the guys after game one of the preseason. Josh Connerly Jr. has an upgrade. I think I'm going to stop trying to go for power to get strength upgrades. I'm just going to keep going into the agile blocking. Just get him higher overall. That's the first thing that kind of, that's what really matters is the overall. So we're just going to keep going into that. Jeremiah Moon, backup edge rusher. That's an insane upgrade. 2 block shed, finesse, and 3 power moves. Keep getting upgrades like that. He's going to be a starter. But looking into the stats for preseason game one, obviously we don't care about the other team stats. DTR with the highest passer rating. Curtis Rourke did throw the only touchdown, but DTR led a couple touchdown drives. did get sacked the most. 50% completion for him and Hooker. Rourke was a little bit lower at 41. Yards per attempt goes to DTR as well, so he was more efficient than them. And then rushing wise, had that big run on the option. Hooker ran the ball decent. Rourke had the decent option run as well, which I didn't expect at all, but that was nice to see. But these two touchdowns, Terrell Jennings, Van Sumeren, and I believe McClellan's touchdown were all in DTR's drive versus Rourke had the one touchdown and Hooker didn't get us anything. So, again, I'm not taking that too much into account. It kind of just is. It is what it is. It's preseason. We're playing with mostly backups. And, we played Max Crosby. Like, he should not be playing in the preseason. But because he was playing in the preseason, that makes me think this is a good indicator of regular season. If Crosby stayed in the whole time, I'm assuming I didn't really see. I saw Ojomo was in there for the whole game. So if that's their starting defense and that's how we played, DTR is the starter. He was probably the best out of the team today. Frank Crum gave up 3 sacks. Jones and Stenberg also gave up sacks. Good thing none of these guys are starters because that is rough. Jeremiah Moon had 3 sacks in the preseason opener. Corey Durden with one, and Brenton Cox and Mo Osling each had one or half. Moon is coming for Cox's job. These guys used to be teammates at UF. They're butting heads right now. That's an insane game for Jeremiah Moon. I'm going to play the rest of the preseason off camera, and we're going to come back after that's done, and we're going to compare the stats, and I'm going to announce the starting quarterback for week 1, and that'll do it for the rest of this video. So I'll be back after the preseason is over. All right, so here is the box score after game 2 of the preseason, and it's pretty obvious who won the battle in this game. Curtis Rourke was unreal. 64% completion. I mean, he led every single stat out of these. He was just dominant. I will say, Dorian Thompson Robinson, the stats look like he's the worst player ever. He's not that bad. I mean, he had the second string O line. Rourke had the second string O line for most of it. Hooker had only the starters, and Robinson had only the second stringers. So Robinson kind of got screwed because he was running for his life every single play, whereas Rourke and Hooker not so much. The run game, McClellan didn't really run it at all. When he did, it wasn't good. And Deuce Vaughn was a little bit Deuce Vaughn this game with McClellan's rushing load from week 1 was worse. So McClellan had, I think it was 7 rushes or 6 rushes, and had way more yards, looked way better, scored a touchdown as well. So Vaughn was not as good as him. So I think as of right this second, Jace McClellan's the starting running back and Vaughn is the second string. But again, that can change if Vaughn plays well in game 3. Receivers, it was N'Keal Harry this time. Last game, it was mostly Cameron Latu. N'Keal Harry was really, really good in this game. Jalen Cropper caught another touchdown from Curtis Rourke. Those two guys have a connection. So if Rourke becomes the starter, maybe Jalen Cropper sneaks into a starting receiver spot as well. The defense gave up 49 points. They were like the exact opposite of last game. Mo Osling with a sack, and Jeremiah Moon does it again. He might be the starter. I'm not kidding. But that's it for the box score in game 2. Like I said, I'll come and check right back in after game 3. All right, here are the stats from the final week of the preseason. Hendon Hooker didn't look too bad at all this game. The interception was a bad read on my part. DTR, again, both interceptions were bad reads on my part, but he's clearly number 3 in this set of guys. Even when I'm not making bad reads, he's making bad throws. It's just not going to work out with him. Curtis Rourke, easily the starting quarterback. I mean, he's been the best in every facet, of course, except for running. And I'd rather a guy who's able to sit back in the pocket and make tough throws under pressure like Rourke is versus a guy who's able to move around and maybe make something happen every once in a while in Hendon Hooker. So Curtis Rourke is going to be the starting quarterback for week 1. In terms of the running backs, McClellan didn't really play that much, but Deuce Vaughn did play a lot, and he played his butt off. I think he's earned the starting spot based on this game alone. Receivers, obviously Cameron Latu is the starting tight end. I think N'Keal Harry's definitely solidified a spot as the starting receiver. To me, same thing with Javon Baker. Doesn't really have the stats, but he's been putting up some big plays and some tough catches. I think he gets the other starting spot. And then the big surprise to me is actually that Xavier Restrepo is not going to be our starting slot receiver. Jaquan Jackson's just been better. He's played better in pretty much every game. To me, Jaquan Jackson has just been the better guy. If you look at the drops, no drops for Jackson, one for Restrepo. Again, Cole Turner, also a higher overall or same overall as Kenny Yeboah. Yeboah is going to be tight end too. Again, behind Cameron Latu, who's easily number one. O line, Caleb Jones is already a backup. Nobody else gave up a sack. Defensively, again, we didn't play. Our defense got killed again. It is what it is. All right, following the preseason, that will do it. We are done here with the inaugural episode of the Arizona Blaze Fantasy Draft Madden franchise here on Madden 26. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.